What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm outside today. Got me a new fuel transfer tank here that I picked up, and I was going to go with the toolbox transfer tank combo. I just didn't see spending the money on that. I hardly ever use a toolbox because these trucks are set so high off the ground you actually have to get into the truck to get anything out of it anyway. And I usually just, if I'm going to carry some tools, I'll put it in the door pockets of the truck, under the back seat or something, crew cab truck, you know. So anyway, I picked up this 50-gallon tank. I did not see any reason to get a 100-gallon tank. I think a 50 will serve me well. Won't take up much bed space. This is a lawn tank. It came in. It's got a dent in it right here. It's a little bit aggravating, but I'm not going to send it back over that. They also did not include a fill cap for some reason when it was supposed to have one. So that means I will be having to go to Tractor Supply to pick one up, I suppose. And this is a model number 73750. If anybody's interested in one of those, you can look them up. Going with the 20-gallon per minute fill right pump with the Arctic package, which is the blue nozzle there. It comes with a swivel, and the hose is a little different here. So I'm hoping that's a little better quality hose. Whether it is or not, who knows? We'll find out though. So I'm gonna start assembling this thing and go ahead and assemble it out here. It's a really pretty day today, so I'm going to go ahead and assemble it, put the pump on and everything, get everything rigged up, and then I'll worry about getting it put in the back of the truck over here. First things first here, it does come with a suction tube, adjustable suction tube on this model. I'm going to go ahead and put some Teflon tape on it and put that on. Let's see here. Yeah, it'll be wrapping the right way. Make sure this is... Ooh, that sucker's going to be too long, ain't it? I believe it is going to be. I'm going to have to cut this sucker off, I reckon, somehow. Or could use a piece of 1-inch pipe. Alright, looks like I'm going to have to cut this off. I do not want to drive uptown to buy a piece of 1-inch pipe. I really hate to cut this off because I might could use it at some other point in time, but in this application here, it's not going to work. So by looking at it, it threads inside this pump, and by looking at it, I need to cut it right about here, where it telescopes at. Just whack the end of it off, about what it looks like. Let me catch this phone here, then we'll whack that off. All right, I guess I'm just gonna pull this all the way down, whack it off right here, and it looks like that's gonna be pretty close to about where it should be at. Like I say, I hate to whack this up, but I don't really want to drive to town just for that. Right now, I want to go ahead and get this stuff mounted, and then all I'll have to do is get a fill cap for this thing. That was some thin metal there. Let me get something to stick in here and clean this up and get that bent back out a little bit. I don't know if this handle here work or not. That part of it. Take this in here, hit it with the cut-off wheel, make it a little neater. Alright, I got that cut off. I used a flap disc and cleaned it up. Tried to get the burrs out of here, and I sprayed some brake clean in it to get the metal out and everything. And I think that's going to be about the right length here by looking at it. It's going to be somewhere in there. It's got to be a little bit off the bottom so it'll be able to suck but not being right up against the bottom of it. So that should work out pretty good. Alright, so I've double checked the height of this and everything looks okay based off of what I see so far. So I'm going to go ahead and put some Teflon tape on the pump here where it goes into the tank, and we're going to go ahead and screw this down into the tank. This suction tube is made for was made. It's made now for this tank, but it was made for a 24-inch deep tank, I believe. Minimum 24 to 36, and the one that I have here is a 18-inch according to the specifications on it. So that is the reason that I had to cut that off like that. And I went with this Fill-Rite pump over a GPI pump because the thickness of this tank here was going to be an issue with the way the GPI pumps are built and hitting the back glass, because the GPI pumps have the motor sticking off the back side. At least the 15 GPM does. There we go. And this here is going to stick out here, so my nozzle I think will be right where I want it to be. I think the GPI pumps are better for like toolbox combos because they have that swivel. It's a little easier to install, and certain applications, the pump being turned the other way, it actually works in your favor. But for this particular application, I think I'm going to be better off with it set just like this here. So that's the way I'm going to set it, and that's the way I'm going to plumb everything up, and hopefully she'll fit like that. Hopefully we can get one more round on this here. Well, I have to go to Tractor Supply and get a fill cap for this, and I have to go to Lowe's or a hardware store and get some 1-inch pipe couplings and whatnot to rig up the filter, because the filter that I'm using is taller than the filter that they usually use or recommend. So the way I'm going to set this up, I got to raise this up a little bit in order for the filter to clear the tank. So I've got to go get that, and funny thing is, I was in Lowe's last night, but I didn't know what I needed, so now I get to go back, I guess. So when I get back, it'll probably be dark, and we can work on this in the shop. Alright, so I made it back from town, and it's not quite dark, but it's pretty close to it. Now I wound up buying more stuff than I planned on, as usual. I've got several different Lynx nipples. I'm going to start with the one that I think it is to start with that'll work best. And I got a few extra because I'm doing a little different setup than what I usually do. I've done a couple of these tanks, not exactly this tank, but I did the 100-gallon in my friend's service truck, and then I did a 1,000-gallon stationary tank that he has at his house, and both of those I rigged up with a two filter system, which is basically a filter similar to this, along with the goldenrod water block filter before that, and that gives some really good filtration, but it's kind of a big setup, and this being a narrow tank and a smaller tank, I want to try to do it with a single filter. This is a 2 micron. This is a water block and particulate remover filter, And they don't keep these at Tractor Supply like the ones that we put on his. The ones at Tractor Supply, you can get a 2 micron, but it is it's not a water block. So we use the goldenrod water block filter before it, and I think it's a 17 micron, so it filters down to 17, and it's got a water block element, and then it goes through the 2 micron on his setup, and that's the way we did both of his setups. And this one here is a 2 micron with water block all in one unit. It's probably not quite as good as a 2 filter unit. It's also more compact. So I'm going to try to get this on here and get the right length here so that I can figure out. I don't want this to be too gaudy, and I've got to have room for my filter to be able to unscrew my filter here. I don't know. That's going to hit right there if I do it that way. If I turn it that way, I'm still not going to have enough clearance. That's what I was afraid of, so I'm going to have to do something different here. The height is going to work, but it's hitting my pump right here. The height is plenty. I can actually come down about a 1/2 inch lower. I think it'll be fine, but I'm going to have to use a little different setup right here. I believe they did not have a regular elbow. All they had in stock was street elbows. So I'm going to have to put a close nipple down in here, I believe, and then maybe a coupler and go with it that way. I got several different things here that I had an option because I wasn't really 100% sure what was going to be the best way to set it up and make it work like I want it to work. I'm thinking something like that. And if I go with a coupler, and I'll put the street elbow in there. If they would have had a regular elbow, I would not need this coupler because the regular elbow would go straight on there, but they didn't have one. All they had was these street dinings here. So that should bring me up to about the right height here. Let's see. Just start this, just a few threads that way I can tell. About, that should be plenty high enough right there. Do it that way. And then I'll put another nipple in there to bring that out. See what we got here. This is a 2.5. That should bring it out plenty right there. Oh, come on. That should go like that. That'll give plenty of room in order to put our filter on there, be able to get it off. It'll be a little bit lower whenever I get this all cranked down, which will be fine. And as I say, I could go back and add a goldenrod if I need to, but I'm trying to keep this as compact as possible and make it look less gaudy. And then I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to go with a 90 right here or if I want to go with a swivel right here, because the swivel, you put a swivel right here, that will allow you to actually go over 90 that way. And then you can, it'll swivel any which way. If you need to put fuel in the truck, you can stretch it out that way. When you roll your hose up, it'll kind of swing down, and I'm thinking I want to try this out right here and see how I like that, and just try that. That's what I got in mind. I was going to actually get another swivel for the pump end, or not the pump end, but the nozzle, but they did not have another swivel. So what I'm thinking now is I bought a pump meter our nozzle meter. I'll show you that. I could swing this around this way as well and do it like this. That's also an option. I'm going to swing around, but thinking that right there will be less likely to get hit with anything being put in the truck. And I think that will work fairly well that way. So let me unscrew this and start putting this together piece at a time with Teflon on it, and we'll get it set up here kind of how it's got to go. You spend maybe way more than what you think whenever you go doing this on fittings and whatnot. It adds up pretty quickly. I spent, I think, $240 between what I bought at Lowe's and then what I bought at Tractor Supply, which included the meter. I'll show it in a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and hook the electrical up, the cord on the tank, that way you can get up and down out of the truck quite so many times. And that's the main reason I'm doing this with the tank sitting on the ground. I have a tractor to pick the tank up with, so that's not an issue. And I'm not trying to plumb around anything in the truck that's like I did on the service truck I did. So put a little bit of tape on the electrical little wire holder there. Put it in the back side of the pump right here. And I'll use a crescent wrench because that's what I got handy right there. Tighten it down with. That's probably good enough. And you got to take these four covers off, 4 screws off this cover. Curious to how many gallons a minute this thing's going to pump. These pumps never pump what they say, because the pump that the number they give is with no hose attached, basically. So it's always less whenever you put a hose and a nozzle and filters and all that on there. The one that we hooked up a few days ago on that 1,000-gallon tank for my friend was We tested it. It was 16 gallons a minute pumping through 2 filters, like I say, a goldenrod and a 2 micron of this size right here. And it was a 20 gallon a minute, but it was a 115 volt pump, which is quite a bit larger than what these 20 gallon a minute here is. I hope that's long enough. It does not seem very long, but I guess we'll go ahead and put it on here and find out what it is to it. It is a heavy cord in comparison to some others I've seen. Wire nuts are not something you typically see on a 12 volt system, but that's what they included in the kit, and I think it'll be okay because it's a sealed compartment here. It has a gasket around it. I'm going to wrap some tape around that and seal it up a little better. I think it'll be all right. All right, I've got everything. I'm just about ready to pick this thing up and set it in the truck. Don't forget to take your drain plug out, put some Teflon tape on it and tighten it down because it comes just screwed in there a little bit. And you put some Teflon tape on your fill cap because it does not come with one apparently. And tighten it down in there. Everything's ready to be set down in there. And I just got some 3/8 bolts. I wasn't sure what size holes they were. They look about 1/2 inch about now by looking at them, but I just got 3/8 bolts. That will be plenty to hold this down, I do believe. So I'm going to get the truck and get it turned around and set this thing in there, and we'll go back getting it bolted down and everything. So I didn't even use the tractor to pick this up. I just picked one end of it up, set it on the tailgate. This long enough tank. I grabbed the other end, picked it up, shoved it in there. I've got to get up there and sweep all the junk out of the front of the bed, and then we'll see if we can get this thing maneuvered around in there. So I got most of it swept from the front to at least the middle of the bed. I'm not too worried about cleaning all of it out. It's got a bunch of screws and stuff in there, so I just swept it back so that it won't be up under the tank. I'll finish cleaning that out later, maybe. Alright, so I'm going to have to bend this lifting eye right here in towards the tank, or cut it off one. I'm not sure what should be easier, if I can bend it up maybe to give me a little more clearance. The pump is hitting on the other side. It's going to be pretty close if this thing even fits in here like I want it to. maybe that'll work. Alright guys, this is the left side of the tank right here. You can see where I smashed this in. I've got a little bit more room down there, but I'm going to have to cut off that mounting ear on the front. I mean, there's no way you can get to that, put a bolt in it anyway. Well, I ain't going to say it's impossible, but probably not likely. And probably bend over that tie down point right there in the bed, and that will allow this tank to come over a little bit more, because I need a little bit of clearance right here on the pump side. You see the distance right there, and I'm hoping that'll drop down because that's got the pump or the tank picked up off the bed floor right here, and I need to get this pump nozzle inside the bed here just a little bit more than it is. And I really want this on this side of the truck like this so I can stand on the ground and easily grab it. And when I go to fill up my pickup, I would like for this to remain on this side. I could swap sides with the pump if I have to, put the pump on this side, fill on this side, but I really want to keep the fill on the tank right here because the fill for the truck is right here. So when I'm filling up the pickup, I can fill up the tank on the same side without getting inside of the bed of the truck and stretching the hose over and all that good stuff. So that's what I'm hoping to do. So I'm going to cut off that tab down there and bend over that little mounting ear on the bed, or little tie down point on the bed, and I may go ahead and cut this eye off or do something with this so that it'll clear and go up under the lip of that as well. And hopefully that will give me enough room here in order for this to clear right here where it's hanging on the side of the bed right there. If that'll go right down inside of there, that'll bring my pump nozzle inside a little bit, I think, and I think it'll work like that. So I'm going to try that and see, and if not, then we'll have to put the pump on the other side, I suppose, in order to make it work correctly. Alright guys, so I've got it almost down in there, but I'm not happy with the way that's fitting. I'm afraid that nozzle may vibrate out going down the road right there. It's also going to leak diesel down the side of my truck, and but I'm afraid that nozzle could vibrate out right there the way it is, because it's not inside the bed rail, and go down and pull the hose with it and drag down the road. I really wanted it on this side of the truck, that way I could fill on the other side when I fill the truck up. Would be easier, but I'm going to try to put this on the other side of the truck, put the fill port over here, and see if that makes my pump work, setup work better for me. There is one advantage to having the pump on the driver's side, and that is I can simply grab the pump nozzle when I get low on diesel and put some in here easily without having to get in the truck and drag it over the other side. There is that advantage of having it over there. It will also be more protected from anything that could hit it, limbs, whatever, if you're driving through the woods or something. But anyway, so I guess I'm going to unscrew this thing, unscrew the fill port, swap sides with it, and see what it looks like, and see if I like that setup any better, if it looks like it fits any better. Because I've still got a little bit of a gap up under that tank right there on this corner. It's not much, maybe a ½ inch on the back side. It's very small, but as I say, it's giving me a little bit of an issue right there. So I'm going to unscrew it, swap sides, see what she looks like, and go from there. And that way, at least I won't have diesel dripping down my truck. My nozzle won't be falling out going down the road, that sort of stuff. And I hope with it inset like that, that I'll be able to reach the nozzle from the ground, because if I can't reach the nozzle from the ground, then I'm just going to go back to this setup here and hope it works. And we're just simply unscrewing this and pull it out, stick it on the other side. Just going to stick it down over here and look at it for right now. Now I can bring this filter head back around towards the front if need be. I guess I'll put some Teflon on it, and we'll put her in there that way. See what she looks like. And tighten her down and everything. Takes a little time to get one of these tanks set up the way you want it to where it'll function best for you. Alright, that should work. I'm going to have to move my tank over so I can get that screw on down there. Alright, so I've got it assembled back up, and I was looking at it and I figured out that there's two positions that this nozzle holder goes. I had it pointed up. You just took the bolt back out, repositioned it, pointed it down, and it fits a little better now. But anyway, the nozzle, I can reach it standing on the ground. It's kind of a stretch, but I can reach it, so that's okay. And most likely I'll probably go to a diesel truck pump. Fill this up at the truck stop, and so the fill being on that side is not that big of a deal. When I fill up my 18-wheeler, I have to go to both sides on it as well, so I guess I'll fill the truck on this side and the tank on that side like an 18-wheeler. Not the end of the world. It's not how I originally envisioned it, but such is life, you know. About half the rest of my life, it's not how I envisioned it either, so, and I'm making do, so this is going to work out. So now what we got to do is we are going to get the hose here, hopefully, some Teflon tape on it, get it threaded in here into this swivel, and get this thing tightened down, and then we'll have a complete unit other than wiring it up and bolting it to the floor. At least that's the plan. I hope this hose is a decent hose. This is the Artic. The Artic hose is supposed to be a little bit higher quality hose, and the kit comes with a swivel right here. It's not much more, so I figured I would give it a try. having the swivel up here is going to allow this hose to twist and not get all kinked up, hopefully. I think that'll help out a lot. Nothing like going to a fuel pump that doesn't have a swivel and having to twirl the nozzle around over your head and stuff to get it where you got enough slack and it's uncurled to make it to your tank. Swivel all around everywhere, and the hose can hang straight down, not be in any bind. This is a 20-foot hose I got here, so it's going to go around the world. But it ought to be plenty long enough for everything. That's what I'm hoping for. Things curled up. Just stay curled up. Oh well. That'll be fine. I've got a gallon meter over here I'm going to put on there, and it's also got a swivel in it as well. It is a GPI gallon meter, and I read some mixed reviews on these. Some say great, some say not so great. I don't know. So, oh well, I'll cut this stupid thing out the back side. Stupid plastic packaging they put this stuff in. Anywho, that's just a reducer. I thought this thing had a swivel in it, but it does not. Well, I guess I still need a swivel. Thought this thing had a swivel built into it. Maybe not. Oh well. These are just reducer bushings, I suppose. We don't need those. And this thing just has a little impeller inside of it down in there that spins evidently. I have to make sure we got the in and out right. It says the flow goes this way. So this end will be at the nozzle here, and I've got a close nipple down there I'll have to get down and get in order to screw that on there. And I'll still have to get another screw, evidently. Oh well, this will make it work for now. This hose here has a spring inside of it to keep the hose from collapsing on itself. At least that's the idea. I don't know if I'm better with this this on the end of the nozzle like this, or if it would be better right here on the swivel, honestly. I really didn't know how this setup was going to turn out. I had no idea I was going to mount it on this side, so everything's a little bit different than kind of what I had in my mind. I've got a close nipple, I can put that right there. I just don't know how well that's going to work, and it may work fine and allow me to look at how many gallons I'm putting in something. I don't know. Let's see here. Alright, let me grab my nipple down here. I've already used my closed nipple, but I have a 2-inch nipple that should work. This is all 1-inch stuff. This is not 3/4 like some of it is. It's kind of big. See, I don't know how that's gonna, I mean, that'll be decent. You can look at that meter, I guess, if you get it positioned right. That's also going to mean it's going to be in the sun, you know, sitting there like that. So I'm thinking I better put it on the side, probably. Yes, I had the pipe wrench backwards there. Let me see how I can turn it to where I don't booger the screen up here. And still, the job done. That'll work there, I believe. Let's see what that looks like, shall we? Okay. Now let's see. Practical use. I'm reaching from the ground. Like that. Roll the hose all the way out from over here. How does that work? Knot in the hose. Okay. That's the hose strung all the way out right there. So that works there, just like it should. Now, if I want to put this thing up, I don't know what the best way about doing it is. Just kick it back over here, I guess, like so. And then, just like that right there. Guys, are y'all still with me? Did y'all die? You okay? Y'all okay? Yeah, you fell off the tailgate there and hit the concrete floor. I'm glad y'all still with me. Anyway, I'm gonna pull the truck in the shop, get up under it, put the bolts in it, then we'll run the cable. All right, I got it all wired up here. I just dropped the wire down in between the bed, come down, and right down through here, tied it to the, zip tied it to the factory wiring harness right there. That goes all the way to the front. And they did not send a fuse in the kit with that pump, and I don't have a fuse holder. So for right now, I know this is not the proper way to do it. I just come up in here and loosened up my batteries, stuck the wire in between the battery terminal and the post here, and tightened it back down. That should work for the moment anyway, even though it's not the correct way to do it. I did not put 3 bolts in it, obviously, because they cut the other side off, and on this bolt here, you see where it's at. I had trouble getting that one on there because it's right beside the bed beam. But we have one here and then one on the other side in the same spot right here. And had I drilled the other one, it would have been over here somewheres. Hard to get to anyway where I cut that tab off. But 3 shall hold it, I do believe. And it's tucked up under the lip on the front of the bed here also, as you can see. So it's tucked up under there, so she ain't going nowhere, I don't believe. We'll go uptown and put some fuel in this thing and try it out, make sure everything works. Alright, we're getting some fuel in the tank here. Got it going in there. We had the big truck pump, and you can see by how fast it's going in there. It's supposed to be a 50-gallon tank, so we'll see what she holds here. Yep, 49 gallons. I guess it's going to be 50 gallons. Pretty much. Alright guys, time to try this out and see if it's going to work. I'm going to see how many gallons per minute this is by going to my stopwatch and timing it whenever I squeeze the nozzle, because I have a gallon meter on here. So let's see if I can do that. I did not fill the truck up so that I could do this test. Bring you around here so you can see. Kicked off for some reason. We're going to reset that. Go to 1 gallon and we'll start again. Alright guys, well that's a wrap. According to the meter and the timer, we're getting 13 gallons a minute out of the transfer tank here. So that'll empty that tank in 4 minutes. So it won't take long to get some fuel in something now. Most everything I got, my heaters only hold 13 gallons. And my tractor, I think I don't know what it holds, 25 or something maybe. So it won't take long to get fuel in something now. I think the water machine holds, unless you run it all the way out, about 8. If you run it all the way out, probably 10. But so anyway, glad I got this done. I think this will be a big help. I like that tank sits below the bed rail, and the only thing is sticking up is the pump, of course. Most of the tanks you see set about that high above the bed rail, and then the pump is, of course, way up high on them. So anyway, thanks for watching, you guys. If you like this sort of stuff, this first video you've seen, hit the subscribe button, like, comment, all that good stuff. We'll see you guys in the next video.